So Ghana police has finally made an arrest. They've arrested a guy in the blue shirts after it was allegedly revealed that he has allegedly tied the one in the top and down, the two-piece white dress. Now, this story is a very sad one. Follow me, because if you miss one part, you wouldn't understand anything that is going on. Now, the one in the blue two-piece something, the blue shirts, the blue trousers, his name is Bright Awe. Now, the one in the white two-piece, his name is Stephen Ken Amua. Now, the whole story started early this year when the Bright guy, now Bright is the one in the two-piece, the blue one, reached out to Stephen, the one in the white dress, and then was like, yo, my government is in power now. I can give people jobs because I'm a strong NDC member. I can give people jobs. So why don't you mobilize your people, take money from them, bring it to me, and then I'll help them. You know what we call the protocol something. I mean, it's been going on in some of the inns in our country. It's no news. People pay to get government jobs. So that was what Bright was doing, because at this point his government was in power, and then he thinks he was going to get some slots and stuff. Okay, so Stephen, the one in the white two-piece dress, mobilized his people, especially his family and then his friends, and then got over 2 billion, or let me say got 2 billion, because that's the amount they're quoting, got 2 billion Ghana cedis, and then gave it to Bright. Now, since January till now, this July, nobody had gotten a job. And we all know how frustrating it is when you pay for something and you don't get it now. Stephen, the one in the white attire, is an immigration officer. His wife is a police woman. So getting people into the government service, I mean, especially their family members, would have eased their burden a little bit. We all know how people put pressure on people when things are not going on, especially those working. So they wanted to ease the burden on them, get some of their family members to do government jobs and stuff. So when his people were not getting jobs to do, that was how come they started putting pressure on Stephen, like, yo, give us back our money. If we are not going to get jobs to do, how about you giving us back our money so that at least we can start something with it? Because it's been like 6 to 7 months now since we gave you that money, and no show. Some even had him arrested. Today he wake up, there's somebody in his house shouting for their money. Tomorrow he wake up, there's a police officer, somebody has come to report that he's owing them. Like, it was a whole lot of mess. And according to him, or according to the family members, the disgrace that was coming on them was too much. So he also started putting pressure on Bright, like, yo, give me back my money. If you're not going to get these people their jobs, give me back their money so that I can pay them and then be a free man. Who doesn't want to be free? I mean, look at how when you're owing people, or when you're owing debt, look at how frustrating it is. And then this is 2 billion that we are talking about, 200,000 Ghana cedis that we are talking about. It's not an easy money. So the pressure was just coming on. And then, it seems the friendship between Bright and then Stephen was just tearing apart, because those two bonded over football, over Kotoko. They are strong Kotoko supporters, and then of Arsenal supporters. So, I mean, the whole thing it makes sense that they will be friends and stuff, like he trusts him and stuff. But since it wasn't going that way, he needed back his money. So last week, Thursday, that was on the 3rd of July, just this 3rd of July, Bright reached out to Stephen and told him to finally come for his money, because he was also tired of the pressure and stuff. Now, mind you, both stay in Ashoman, just that Ashoman Estate, yes, just that different part and stuff. So when he had that call from his friend that you come for your 200,000 Ghana cedis, that's your 2 billion, he was very happy, because finally, the pressure on him was going to reduce. So he called his family members, those that he owes, and was like, yo, if everything goes well, I'm going to send you back the money that I owe you, because Bright has finally told me to come for the money. So everybody was just happy. Now he got to the said place that Bright told him to meet him at. It's a popular pub in Ashoman. He got there, and then that was when he called Bright and was like, yo, I am here. Where are you? And then Bright was like, oh, I'm doing something at home, so why don't you come home so that I give you the money, because I can't do an exchange like that in public. I mean, it's a huge amount of money. 200,000, 2 billion is huge, and I know you would like to count it. So why don't you come home so that I give you the money, then everybody just goes their separate ways. I mean, it's understandable, but I think at that point in time, Stephen had forgotten that there's something called a bank transfer that his friend could have just transferred the money to him. But anyway, no worries. He went to his friend's house. Immediately he got to the gate. He called those that he had called earlier and said, yo, Bright said I should come to his house and then take this amount of money. So if everything goes well, I will get you your money as soon as possible. So everybody was happy. Like, finally, we are going to get our money. Okay, so that was the last time anybody heard from Bright. That was from Stephen. That was the last time anybody heard from Stephen, the one in the white attire. Anyway, so within like an hour, he went out there around 8 p.m. So within like 9 something, his wife got a text message from Stephen's phone like, Bright has given me the money. He even added 300,000 Ghana cedis to the amounts for me to keep for him. Now, knowing her husband very well, she looked at the text message, and besides, she's a police officer, and then she was like, no, this is not my husband, because what is this bad spelling and stuff? Now, apparently, 2 of his friends also got the text message saying that he had gotten home safely and that tomorrow he will disburse the money to all those that he owes so that at least the pressure will reduce. But when they look at the text, they were like, no, this is so unlike Stephen, because this bad spellings and stuff, it's not him. It's not him at all. But then they brushed it off and was like, well, we'll reach him out tomorrow, since he said he's tired and stuff. But his wife called his phone, no answer. Called several times, no answer. And then she was like, okay, I'll call him tomorrow. No problem. Tomorrow, that was a Friday, the 4th of July. She called her husband, no answer still. That was how come she got worried, called the nephew, and the nephew was like, yo, my uncle never came home yesterday after meeting Bright. Now, that was how come the whole thing blew out of proportion. His pictures were posted all over social media. People were asking, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Now, apparently, residents of Ashoman on Thursday had a little bit of challenge because the police were around to pick up a dead body that was partially burnt. Yes, that was partially burnt. And people reached out to the family of Stephen, was like, yo, if Stephen came to Ashoman and he's missing, the police were here just recently to pick up this body that was partially burnt. So why don't you go there and then go and check out things for yourself and see if it is him? At first, the family members were like, no. We don't think it's our Stephen. But after several investigations and then DNA and stuff, it was revealed that the partially burnt body was Stephen. Now, according to the police and then according to whatever they saw, Stephen, it seems he struggled with his attacker because there were several knife wounds on his chest, and then his neck was, sorry to say, was cut and was slit open. So it was a whole lot of mess. And after they had done whatever they had to do, they wrapped him in a woolen carpet and then brought him outside, and they wanted to burn him, but they poured petrol and stuff. But unfortunately, or let me say fortunately, it was just part of his body that was burnt, and then Ghana police just came to pick him up. So at first he was an unidentified body, but after everything, the family has come out to say that he had been identified, and then sadly the burnt body that was in Ashoman, that the Ashoman people were saying they should check, is their Stephen Ken Amwa. So this guy sadly died because he lent or he borrowed or he tried helping people get a job, but his friend betrayed him. That is why at the end of the day they say, check who your friend is, because almost some people are enemy in disguise. Is he trying to say this guy's life is worth 2 billion Ghana cedis or what? Ghana police has finally issued a statement, and Bright has been arrested. Currently, he's a suspect. He was arrested on Tuesday when Stephen wasn't found, just this Tuesday when Stephen wasn't found. And then, his whole story wasn't making up because according to him, he was also looking for Stephen and he can't find him. He gave him 300,000 to keep and he can't find him. Like, his story wasn't making up. He has been arrested, and this is one of the saddest stories. Aside Captain Mohammed's then Trobasi killings, this is one of the saddest story I've ever heard, because he has a 4-year-old son and then a 5-month-old baby. Rest in peace, Ken.